Truth be told, with all due respect, if you were to do a poll of everyday New Yorkers and ask them about the relevancy of the public advocate in terms of their lives, my sense is the overwhelming majority of New Yorkers would say no. So if you are the public advocate, how would you change that mindset that so public New Yorkers see the relevance and say that this is an office that's important and needs to continue? Norman, we'll start with you.
How much time?
3 minutes for each question, excuse me.
You touch on one of the problems about this office. As I travel around the city, one, people do not know what a public advocate is. I say just reverse the words, the advocate for the public. Second, people don't even know who the public advocate is as a general rule. That would change with a single public advocate. Why? Because it'd be an activist office. It would be an office that is out there every day, outspoken, fighting for people. That's what advocates do. When I talked about before about decentralizing the office, when I talked about creating the Institute of Advocacy, I learned from my days at MFY Legal Services and the ACLU in New York that there's an incredible pool of volunteers out there. We tapped into the pro bono law firms, and we're able, with a $900,000 budget with 19 staff people to cover the state, to be out there challenging every week on major issues. We will recruit and train hundreds of volunteers and do intake on Wednesday nights, 6 to 8, on Saturday mornings, 11 to 1. We'll go to some of your facilities. We'll go to the senior centers. We'll go to the community centers. We'll go to the housing projects. And we'll have a team of people, a person of color, a Caucasian, a woman, a man, a team that goes to the same location every week, same time, same place, listen to the complaints, and respond to individual complaints. The office should be two-tier. One, individual complaints, and then from the individual complaints you get the pattern practices, the systemic issues. And I love taking on the systemic issues, and you get volunteers to help. You train them, and you can tap into a huge reservoir of talent and commitment to address people's issues. Finally, with regard to the Institute of Advocacy, if you had, let's say, 200 communities, and just think for a second, half a dozen people who get trained by the Public Advocate's Office quarterly on weekends in the art of advocacy, you have a network of over 1,000 social justice people who could move in 24 hours. Hypothetically speaking, if the mayor woke up one morning and decided he wanted 3 terms rather than 2 terms, but that would never happen in a city like New York because there's so many people that would challenge that. But yet, it did happen. If you know about the issue before it's a fait accompli, you can change it. Second hypothetical, let's assume a speaker at the city council wants to set up a slush fund and give $17.4 million to fictitious organizations, which I think is fraud. And you have that social justice network ready to move in 24 hours to take the council on. There are lots of issues that happen. We find out after the fact. If we find out before it's a fait accompli, you can organize and you can change the dynamic of city government, as the Public Advocate Office can be the catalytic agent to bring people together to challenge the status quo.
Thank you, Norman. Bill?
I have honest, immense respect for my opponent. We stood shoulder to shoulder during the fight over term limits. We both thought that the mayor's proposal was an affront to democracy. We both put a lot of time and energy into trying to stop it. I've said publicly how noble his actions were when I was when my candidacy was unfairly acted on by the Board of Elections. I thought Norman's actions in that instance were exemplary. But I think we do have a different view of the office. I think it is not just about being an outsider and issuing the right critique or calling people to get active on an issue. I think all of that matters, but I do think this is ultimately about results. This is a government position. It is structured as within our city charter, not only, in my view, as a position that identifies problems, but then is charged with actually seeing through a process of change and real results. Now, I'm proud of the work I've done in the council for the last 8 years because I utilize the whole spectrum of possibilities to get change. I understood the power of the oversight process, the budget process, the legislative process. In my view, when you look at the charter, the advocate legislative role, a clear oversight and audit role, the best bully pulpit you could imagine representing all 8 million plus New Yorkers. I think it is inherently an inside-outside position. Inside, you're supposed to affect change in very tangible manners. Outside, you're supposed to organize communities around an agenda of change. So, I think, in fact, the job does demand someone who understands very specifically how to make change within government, but who believes in community organizing, believes in framing the debate, and using the bully pulpit to the maximum. When you think about issues facing vulnerable folks and low-income folks in this city, they just don't get the public attention they deserve. So to the original question, what will give people greater investment in the Office of the Public Advocate when they see results, when they see issues brought to the fore, when they see unfairness addressed? I think if the people of this city understood fully how many hungry people are among us, how many hungry children, if they understood that homelessness is at effectively an all-time high, they understood that we're charging people for rent to be in shelter, I think there'd be outrage. And if the public advocate was the agent of changing those policies and making tangible